Welcome once again. I'm Chris Temple, editor and publisher, and today I want to give you a quick update on Arizona Gold and Silver. As you see on the screen here, they're listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AZS. In the US on the OTCQB, they're listed under the symbol AZASF. Mike Stark, who is the CEO of the company, will be joining me in just a minute. Before he does, of course, the usual notice that Mike and or myself may be making some forward-looking statements. So we want to make sure you're aware of that. Sometimes the best laid plans don't always come out as and when you expect. But I'll tell you, this has been a pretty interesting story to this point. Part of that, or actually a great deal of that story, I gave you a little bit over a month ago when I posted a video with Arizona Gold and Silver's vice president and head geologist, Greg Hahn. Greg went into a lot of detail, which I was happy that he did, on the geology of the Philadelphia project. This is one of the most intriguing geological stories that I've ever seen. And among other things, that means that this is something that has the potential for a major and much more substantial discovery than anybody previously pretty much thought was possible in this particular area. It's why the company has got quite a few eyes looking over its shoulder these days, and it's why they just did a very successful capital raise where they ended up bringing in a fair bit more, including from management, than they had expected to do. So again, if you've not watched that previous video, make sure you look on my YouTube channel, which you should be a subscriber to anyway, if you're not already, and get that backstory later on. But for present purposes, we're going to talk about a couple of recent news items with Mike. And I am now joined by my friend Mike Stark, the CEO of Arizona Gold and Silver. Mike, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here, Chris. Thank you.
Well, I promised folks we were going to give them an update after you met a couple of milestones, which you've done. So we're going to break that down. As I said a minute ago before you came on, the biggest one being financial wise, the capital raise that you just closed back on the 8th of April. And happily to see that it was oversubscribed. You had to up the amount, and also management took a good chunk of it. So break down for us how, in the end, it was about 1.6 million Canadian, correct?
That's exactly right, Chris. We put out tenders for $1 million, and I'm very flattered on how this all evolved. We have a brand new fund into the company now, which we've never had before. A really nice gentleman, long-term thinker, likes what we've done. I've been working with this guy for over 3 years, so it's quite accreditation to the company that he's involved. Management, much to my surprise, I mean, none of us are wealthy individuals, but every single management member took place in this placement. Over $280,000 came in. That's a very significant amount in a skin in the game, and we've never sold a share. Management has never sold a share in this company. I'm proud of that.
Well,
And
you already had a nice management representation, and so this maintains that, and that's always
yeah,
good for people to see that you do have a pretty good chunk of the company.
thank you. Yeah, it's 28% at this point, and that's going to be reestablished. We're reworking the new numbers. Much to my surprise, and sorry, much to my delight, our current institution maintained his 9.9% as well. So again, very solid footing. Asking for $1 million turned out to be 1.6. Let's get the drill busy now.
And we're going to get to the drill in just a minute, but tell me too, Mike, as you were marketing this latest private placement, how was your overall reception? I mean, it's obviously it was good because you had to up the amount that you're able to take in, management took part and so forth, as you said. But beyond that, was your sense that people are willing to stick their heads up a little bit more since we've seen metals prices? Is your own story starting to resonate more, or maybe some of both?
I'll go with that. A little of both. And to be honest, when we started, it was difficult, Chris. It was so difficult. I probably had 25 absolute no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. I'll get back to you was the 26th call, and then 25 no, then the 29th call, sorry, the 39th call. It was, yeah, I'm interested, but send me some more information. And then one guy came on board, and that was thanks to a broker here in Vancouver. And then it was just dominoes. Once that happened, we started to fill. And then I made the call to the institutions and they said, yeah, we'll keep our, we like what you're doing. And then on top of that, gold started to run. So I believe a little bit of everything was a combination to how this came about. I'm excited about this price. Let's face it, that seniors and the developers right now are ecstatic with this number that we're getting 2,400. But for a guy that is not strictly exploration, excuse me, it's good for us in the future as well. It's really good.
Well, sure. Now, again, as I said before you came on, folks, if you've not seen it before, I encourage you to watch the interview that I did with Mike's VP and his head geologist, Greg Hahn, several weeks back, because that gives you the backstory of exactly what is being financed here. I have said before, and I'll repeat it again, this is one of the more unique geological stories I've ever seen and heard of. And I know that you've got a lot of people looking over your shoulder to see how the drilling goes on, how successful it is, and how you continue to flesh out, hopefully, a eye-catching resource down the road. But part of that, of course, is that you announced subsequent to the closing of the financing that you are going to start your newest drilling program. It's going to be an RC program, which means reverse circulation. This is where instead of a drilling program where actual hard core comes up from the ground, you grind up all the material with the drill, bring it up, and so that doesn't always give you the exact location of this and that, but it gives you what you're trying to find, a rough location, number one, and number two, the mineralization to begin with. It's cheaper, so you're able to get more done with the amount of money that you raise. So run us through quickly, Mike, the attributes of this drill program, what it is you're trying to do. We did talk about that with Greg previously, but give us a repeat of that, what you're trying to do with this current drill program, and what you're hoping to accomplish.
Sure, I'd be glad to. What this is going to do is infill the only 500 meters that has never been drilled before. This was the last claim that we were able to acquire from the patented property owner. And now we're infilling on that. So there'll be 10 pads across this 500 meters, and we will be doing holes on a vertical, if I may, like this, and testing the down dip extension of the high grade vein. Once we do this, we will be complete 1.5 kilometers of continuous. I'm being careful now because we haven't drilled all the holes, but up to date, we've hit our target each and every time. Lo and behold, that is a great thing. I wish I knew the grade, but I don't. But we're very pleased with what we see. And to date, every single hole is where we wanted it to be, and the target is there. So we're glad.
So some of these holes in this current program you've already completed.
That is correct. Yes, we have.
And what do you think is roughly going to be the end date?
$1 million question. All the things that you don't know, that can happen. Maybe we blow a hose or the rig is
Sure.
down. I do know the guys are going to be on break in the coming days, and that'll be 10 more days because they have to have their time off. Look, I just got back. You can see the redness in my face. It's very warm down there already. It's 95 actually the day that I left, but nice to see this. It doesn't matter how hot it is. When you see the material you're looking for coming out of the ground, that's what you want to see, and you're happy about it. So answer your question, Chris. I'm thinking maybe the end, mid-May will be done, maybe a little sooner. Again, everything going smoothly, it could be faster.
Okay, so you're not letting any grass grow under your feet, not that a whole heck of a lot grows in that kind of climate down there to begin with. So you're through, let's say, mid to late May, whatever, and then assays will be done. And so we may know by mid-year break.
Oh, I would hope you'd
What?
even know sooner than that.
Okay.
I'm not going to waste any time. Once these holes are finished and done, we get them down to the lab. I mean, they could be spaced out 1 or 2 times, 3 times. I don't know that exactly, but I do know we will get these to the lab. We're anxious to see what we have. I mean, that's our prognosis as always is look, evaluate, drill. Look, evaluate, drill.
Right.
So being that we've done that with our money, and you mentioned RC, we would have only get 1/3 the amount of these in core, and it's not needed. We need to see if the vein's there. That's the
Right.
subject matter. We don't care to put 1 hole in it and 2 holes in it. I'd rather put 24 holes as we're doing and show the continuity, show the grade improving, hopefully down dip. There, that's now you're getting a better evaluation. It also helps out on a 43-101 in the future as well.
Well, sure. And then assuming that all goes well with this, then you probably would, I'm sure, look at more core drilling
Absolutely.
later on.
There's
Right,
there's always a reason for core. It's the Bible, right?
right.
And once you've got this established, you go back, maybe put 2 or 3 to confirm that statement. And then we're anxiously awaiting our BLM permits, which is next to be coming down the road. And then we've got to take a look at the deep holes as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, folks, again, if you haven't done it, check out the video discussion I had with Greg Hahn, Mike's VP and the head geologist. Make sure that you kick the tires on this. This is one of the more compelling stories geologically I've ever known of. And in an environment where even with the move in precious metals prices, investors are still going to be choosy. Potential suitors are still going to be choosy. This is not anytime soon, in my view, going to be a rising tide lifts all boats kind of environment, not for a while, because the retail investors still really haven't caught any kind of a mania yet, despite the nice behavior for the metal prices. But you're going to want to focus on stories that are one-off stories, ones that have got something that others don't have, that have got the ability to come out with a more compelling resource. There's all kinds of companies out there that can turn 1 million ounces into 1.2 million. You want to see something that come out that's new and that's eye-catching. And I think this Arizona Gold and Silver has got that potential. So make sure you visit the company, keep up with them, keep up with yours truly. We'll continue to have updates and whatnot come out on the company as well. So Mike, congratulations on that successful raise. I'm glad that we're full tilt boogie with the drilling program right now, and I can't wait to hear the results.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate your time.
All right, and thank you as well.
For much more of the National Investor's cutting-edge content and actionable investment opportunities, make sure to subscribe to Chris's free content at nationalinvestor.com. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel too. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.